Knowledge is usually portrayed as something noble. The more we understand the world, the better we become. Science pushes humanity forward. Discovery expands possibility, and wisdom helps us overcome ignorance. Stories often treat knowledge as a path toward freedom, but
Fullmetal Alchemist
asks a different question. What happens when knowledge stops serving people and people start serving knowledge? What happens when understanding the world becomes more important than caring about the people inside it? Because beneath the battles, the politics, and the alchemy, that is the conflict at the heart of entire story. Most people describe
Fullmetal Alchemist
as a story about sacrifice, or equivalent exchange, or the bond between two brothers, and all of those interpretations are true. But there is another idea running underneath all of them. An idea so consistent that nearly every major character eventually collides with it: the pursuit of knowledge. And the question of whether anything should matter more than human life. The story begins with a tragedy. Edward and Alphonse try to bring their mother back. At first glance, this looks like an act of love, but beneath that love lies something else, a belief. The belief that if they understand enough, they can overcome the limits of reality itself. Death becomes a problem, alchemy becomes the solution, knowledge becomes power, and power becomes permission. They do not fail because they lack compassion. They fail because they believe understanding grants control. That is the first illusion of the entire series. One of the most fascinating things about the series is that almost nobody commits evil out of simple malice. Most people justify themselves through understanding. Researchers pursue forbidden experiments. Scientists create philosopher's stones. Military alchemists develop new weapons. Everyone believes they are uncovering something important, something necessary, something bigger than ordinary morality. And that mindset is dangerous, because it transforms people into resources. Lives become numbers, bodies become materials, suffering becomes acceptable if it provides a greater result. And this is where the pattern becomes clear. Knowledge itself is never the problem, but when it becomes the highest authority in person's value system, human life stops being a boundary. It becomes a variable, something that can be measured, traded, or sacrificed as long as the result is progress. And that is exactly how people like Tucker justify what they do. Not through hatred, but through logic that has forgotten what it costs. No character demonstrates this more clearly than Shou Tucker. He is not driven by hatred, he is not driven by revenge, he is not even driven by power. He is driven by achievement, recognition, discovery, the desire to succeed. And because of that, he commits one of the most horrifying acts in the entire story. Not because he stops thinking, but because he stops caring. His intellect remains intact. His humanity doesn't. And Brotherhood repeatedly returns to the same pattern. Knowledge without empathy creates monsters. Not metaphorically, literally. But Tucker is only a small-scale version of a much larger idea, because father is the logical endpoint of the same philosophy. He begins as a being trapped inside a flask, a being obsessed with understanding the world, understanding truth, understanding existence itself, and eventually, understanding is no longer enough. He wants mastery, then control, then perfection, then godhood. His goal is not evil for the sake of evil. His goal is transcendence. He wants to remove every limitation that makes him incomplete, but in the process, he removes everything that makes him human. And this creates one of the greatest ironies in the series. Father believes humanity is weakness, fear, pain, dependency, imperfection. So he literally extracts those traits from himself: greed, wrath, envy, pride, gluttony, lust, sloth. He removes what he considers flaws, but what remains is not a superior being. It is an empty one, because humanity is not defined by perfection. It is defined by limitation. The very things Father rejects are the things that allow people to connect with one another. And the more knowledge he gains, the less capable he becomes of understanding that. This is why truth is so important. Many viewers see truth as a judge, a cosmic punishment system, but that interpretation misses something. Truth never condemns people for wanting knowledge. The series itself celebrates learning. Edward learns, Alphonse learns, Izumi learns, Mustang learns. The problem is never curiosity. The problem is arrogance. The belief that knowledge can erase human limits. The belief that understanding reality makes you greater than reality. Truth does not punish ignorance. Truth punishes hubris. And this is where Edward's journey becomes the mirror image of Father's. Both seek knowledge, both challenge natural limits, both stand before truth, both want something impossible, but they arrive at opposite conclusions. Father spends centuries pursuing more knowledge, more power, more control, more perfection. Edward learns something entirely different, that there are things more valuable than power, more valuable than understanding, more valuable than alchemy itself: the people. This is why the ending matters so much, because Edward does not defeat Father through superior knowledge. He does not unlock the ultimate secret. He does not become the greatest alchemist who ever lived. Instead, he gives alchemy away. The thing he spent his entire life mastering, the thing that defines his identity, the thing that gave him power, and he trades it for his brother. Not because it is rational, not because it is efficient, but because some things are worth more than understanding. For Father, knowledge justified sacrifice. For Edward, love justified sacrifice. That difference changes everything. And maybe that is the real message.
Fullmetal Alchemist.
Not that knowledge is dangerous, and not that curiosity is wrong. The series never argues against learning. It argues against what happens when learning becomes more important than people. Because the moment knowledge becomes the highest value, It stops being a tool meant to help human life and starts being a reason to ignore it. At that point, decisions are no longer about what is right for people. They are about what produces results. And that is exactly where characters like Tucker lose their humanity without ever noticing it. Father then takes the same logic and pushes it to its extreme, turning human experience itself into something to discard in the pursuit of perfection. But Edward's path moves in the opposite direction. He sees the same world, the same rules, the same knowledge, and still chooses to stop. Not because he stopped understanding, but because he finally understood what it costs. And in the end, Father loses everything trying to rise above humanity, while Edward saves his brother by accepting that being human was never the limitation in the first place.